Hello everybody and welcome back to Kerbal Space Program The Journey Begins, Part 12. You see us here blasting off from the KSC. It almost an exact replica of the test mission for this vehicle, the Brunel Mark 1. Just doing this recap style. Kerbal is at the controls. She's joined by Bill Kerman and of course in the science seat is Johnny Kerman. Now there's a name you can use in place of 80 grit sandpaper. That'll be the only one for today, I promise. Anyway, we can see our payload here is a big multi-purpose fuel tank. But basically, we're doing two upgrades to the space station today. There's a vital one and an optional one. This is the optional one. We're just delivering a fuel tank to the space station just to give it a bit more utility. It means we can use it as a staging post for later missions if just in case any missions require a bit of extra fuel, so we can make sure all the vehicles have full tanks before they go off and do whatever. Something I sometimes do in my saves. Normally there's a lot more fuel involved. I don't know if we'll upgrade this with more fuel tanks, but anyway, this whole thing is over as quickly as it began, and the crew start making their way back to Kerbin. Kerbal getting her, I'm not sure if this is her first or her second sort of mission in charge, but what a lovely job she's done nonetheless. Valentina, of course, resting after her weary journey to the moon. And as they make their way back to Kerbin, they land with yet another soft thud. And yes, it's time to move on to more pressing issues. So that was the appetizer. It's time for the main course. We are blasting off here with our shuttle. With the science we got from the last mission last time out, we unlocked a couple of nodes on the tech tree, the first of which contained the last of the parts I needed to complete my little Mark II shuttle. So we're putting this to actual good use for the first time. The other science node, well, that's sort of locked up in the cargo bay there with our payload, but we'll get to see that a little later. Valentina and Bargel, of course, are crewing this one, and we're doing this at 4 times time acceleration for a couple of reasons. I had originally wanted to do this normal speed because, well, we haven't seen the shuttle fly to full orbit in a launch before, but, well, a couple of reasons I didn't. First of all, it's not a particularly imaginative or an inventive launch system. There's a couple of parts we really need to sort of do something that looks a little nicer. Secondly, yeah, I was messing about with this craft and I encountered a rather nasty bug. Sort of, yeah, I don't think I've ever come across anything like this before. I think it's something to do with infernal robotics, more on that mod later, but yeah, I did actually manage to get some footage of it, so stick around to the end and I'll show you that. But yeah, so I wanted to break this mission up, just so I've had a chance to do full saves, just in case it does crop up. I can go back and forth, seeing what caused it, how I can fix it. Hopefully it won't. I've done a fresh install of all my mods. Hopefully that fixes it. But anyway, our shuttle is circularizing our orbit now. It rolls to expose its solar panels to the sunlight, and I think it's about time we step things back down to normal speed. So here we are, the shuttle in orbit for the first time. Let's actually take a look at our map view and see what needs doing. We need to rendezvous with the station to deliver a new part to it. Let's set that as our target. Yeah, we're going to want to get rid of that relative inclination of our orbit, so we will add and maneuver the descending node, so we need to go upwards. Just fine-tune that slightly. That'll do. One of the other mods, I haven't really come to any of the parts yet, but one of the other mods I have in my install is Interstellar Extended, and that sort of is bundled with a different mod, better burn times. So you see I've got this extra line here, line of stuff there. That will display some useful stuff. If you go back and watch the launch, you'll see it displaying sort of like time until space and time until re-entry and what have you. So yeah, we'll more on that mod when we come to sort of more of the main parts from it. Where are we? We need to get ourselves pointed the right way, so let's start turning this. There we go. Just try to stop that. And then let's put it to the maneuver node. And let that settle down. And let's just time accelerate forward. So our mission today is for a very simple reason. The space station does not have enough battery power. Doesn't have enough battery storage on it. That little service module, that little power module we put up there to begin with. Yeah, with the research running, it just doesn't have. We get like an hour of, well, not even that, about 10 minutes of. 1 second, just. I think I might have overcooked that slightly. Ooh, can we? That'll do us. Yeah, so we need to put more power storage, more battery capacity on our space station. So I thought, well, let's just upgrade the whole damn power module. So we are going up with a proper power module for the space station. Let me just start our rendezvous maneuver planning. And we are going to attach that, and hopefully it can do its science all the orbit round, which would be nice. Did I say about 10 minutes? No, less than that, because it's Kerbin at this height. I think it's about an orbit once every half an hour. So yeah, less than. We barely get. We're not getting the full science out of it. Is the short of it. That's perfect. So 19 minutes, let's start. Let's get ourselves pointed towards our maneuver node. And then start time accelerating round. Yeah, so we have a power and battery storage and radiator module. So a like-for-like replacement of that little utility module we took up there during the early days. Cannot walk faster. Damn you straight to hell. Slightly extreme reaction. Alright, 5 minutes, 4 minutes, 3 minutes, 2 minutes, start notching that one down. Yeah, so hopefully get this up, everything will be good, and we can actually start getting some serious science in. Maybe time accelerate a little further forward. Well, that should do us. Estimated burn 3 seconds. I'll burn quite gently. Let's front load it a bit because we'll want to fine tune it. Where are you? I think that's about as good as we're going to get it. Let's time accelerate round and meet up with the space station. One of the other mods I'm using today is Infernal Robotics. Now, Infernal Robotics is a bit of an odd one. Now, Kerbal Space Program's been around for quite a while now. So there's been lots of mods that have come and gone. What normally happens with the popular ones is someone starts doing the mod, then, you know, life takes over, they run out of time to do it, so they pass it on to someone else who develops the mod instead. Kerbal Space Program's been around for so long that that's sort of happened twice already for the mod, and it's sort of, oh nuts, we overshot that slightly. We are going to need to get ourselves turned around. Apologies for the RCS. Just to speed things up. Yeah, so let's get pointed towards the target. Yeah, so now there's someone else, a third person, I think I'm right in saying this, and there's now a third person sort of looking after the mod. It's in a bit of a limbo. It's in beta state in its new form. So it's a bit tricky to track down sort of a full working version for 1.4, but it's out there if you can find it, and it's a very useful mod if you can get it. It introduces moving parts to the game, so like powered hinges and extendable arms, so you can do robotic arms and the like. And well, you can probably guess why it's so popular. Oh, we're coming in quite fast here. Shuttle seems to be having a bit of problem controlling itself. And there we go. And we're at the correct end of it as well. Let's just turn that off. That's going to be annoying. So let's get ourselves orientated the correct way, and then we can begin the process of docking. The thought does occur, I could have done this with the Brunel launcher. It would probably have made it a little simpler in certain respects, but well, you've got to love a shuttle, haven't you? It was just, I mean, the real life space shuttle was just so iconic. And the problem is, it could have been everything it was supposed to be, but sort of, when you read about the history of the development, it was sort of almost a case of too many cooks spoiling the broth with regards to the planning of it. Ooh, wrong way. Let's get ourselves down on the same level as it. Which is a shame, really. So I suppose what I can do now is I can open up the cargo bays and show you what we are packing. It's a simple truss. You see two, what are these called? These Z1K battery units on each end. One of the Gigantor XLs on either side, and two of these radiators. So yeah, as I said, pretty much a like-for-like replacement of the existing little power module there, which isn't really cutting it. I mean, even with all the battery storage that's on the emergency return vehicle and all that, still just not cutting it. We need to sort of turn this slightly. I'm going to turn off RCS for that because it's going to get so annoying. Make sure our wings are level. That's going to be important in a second. And let's start thrusting sideways. And I'm just going to do a thrust and then turn off RCS because that is so irritating. I need to turn a little this way. Just make sure we're all nicely lined up, because the maneuver we're going to have to do in a second. All nicely lined up there. All looking good. And we're about to come into sunrise, which is nice, because, yeah, doing this in the dark, not really the best for me, not really the best for you, but should be able to correct that shortly. You need to be turned a little. There we go. Let's get you stopped. I think that's it. I think we need to excuse me a second whilst I just try and fine-tune this. So what we are going to do now, in Infernal Robotics, we have a little powered hinge here connected to a docking adapter, which is then connected to our payload. So I just bring up this little menu here. I just click that so it goes, so it moves it, so I can move between presets. And then if I press, I think it's this one, it does that. Oh, and I'm about to hit the space station. So now what we do from here is, because this is roughly the size of the cargo bay, there's not really much room to maneuver there. It's not really much a way to reliably get it out. And to sort of get it out and dock with it and then dock to the space station. So what we do is we tilt it up like that, and then I get it to control from this docking port here, and then hopefully I should be able to just maneuver it in like that. I will cut down on the RCS noises during the edit because this is just, it's irritating as hell for me. I don't want you to endure that. Forward more. Easy does it. Oh god, that was horrible. I will get these noises right down in the mix because it is just it's the audio equivalent of sandpapering your eyeballs. It is just not pleasant. And I think we are on course for a good... The other thing I could have done is could have got the probe out or the emergency return vehicle out just to sort of take it out of the space shuttle and then dock it, which would have been easier, but not quite as impressive, I don't think. And I'm hoping that's pretty straight. After that fuss, yeah, I'm not sure I care that much if it is. It's close enough. Let's decouple the node there. Let's switch back to you. We are going to want to go backwards and down. Drag ourselves away. Which way is that moving it? And we want to move our little robotic part so that that's flat. And then we can close our cargo bay. Now from here, if I'd wanted to, I could have gone and docked to the space station, but there's no need really. We've done everything we came here to do. Let's just switch to the space station itself, and we can get those parts out. It says activate receiver because it's sort of it's a mod sort of modifying its behavior, but it's just extend solar panel as it would normally be. And then we extend those radiators. And we have power. We should have more than enough power so that when we go behind the planet, we have enough to see us all the way out to the other side. Because we've only accrued 19 science in a fairly long period of time, so that's really not good enough. Anyway, it's time to head back to the surface. And the journey down is a long one, so we're going to recap this one as well. We start by transferring into a lower orbit just to burn off as much of that energy as possible, and then we pick our spot, line ourselves up for a rendezvous with the KSC, and finally we deorbit. Just as we're coming down, we pump some fuel forward just to make sure we're as stable as possible. And then we just slowly make our way down into the atmosphere. Now, we had a few issues on the descent, which meant ultimately we came up a little short of the KSC, but I think I know what went wrong, so these are things we can... creases we can iron out in later missions. Now, I promised you good people who hung around to the end of the video that I'd show you this bug, because, well, I've never seen anything like it whilst I've been playing with KSP, so there's a good chance you might not have seen anything like it as well. Well, essentially, as I was making my way down on this test flight, heading for re-entry, I hit time acceleration and the craft... The pieces of the fuselage, with all the bits sort of attached to them, sort of rearranged themselves so they were neatly stacked on top of each other. As we re-entered the atmosphere, they sort of reassembled themselves, not quite as they were, but more how I'd imagine Pablo Picasso would reimagine this particular craft. So, for those of you who want to look at a space shuttle in the Cubist style, I present to you a piece I've simply called Go Home Kerbal Space Program, You're Drunk. Yeah. Well, this happened and I thought, you know what, I'll play along. I'll see if I can get the Kerbals back down to the ground safely. But you may be shocked to hear that this wasn't that easy to control. especially during the descent, although it does settle into a nice slow terminal velocity, so that's something, I suppose. Yeah, so I decided it's time to sort of parachute the Kerbals out. So we get Valentina out first of all, and she makes it off okay, and then it's time for Bargel, who unfortunately takes a wing surface to the face and is no more. But, well, 1 out of 2 isn't that bad, I suppose. Quite irritatingly, though, the cockpit actually survives the crash. So, probably should have got them to stay put. Anyway, that's my bizarrest ever KSP experience, captured for you on video, no less. And I think we're going to end it here. Hope you've enjoyed it, everybody. Thanks for watching. Take care, and I'll see you next time.